All right. We're happy to have you all here. It is March 3rd, 2026. This is our 7 o'clock Board of Education meeting, and we'll begin by indicating who is here. Julie?
Julie Jackson.
Kim Chandler.
Burgess.
Chris Wynn.
Karen Winder.
Clark Nelson.
Todd Harvey.
Ben Worsley.
And Nicole McDermott. All right. We're going to first welcome, we have some visitors here, so we'd like to have anybody from PTA stand and be recognized, and please introduce yourselves.
Polly Bates, Cypress Council. Kylie Jones, Region 5 Reflection Advisor.
And GEA. Thank you. Granted Office Professionals.
Dana Breeze, President.
Hilda Dunn, Treasurer.
Thanks for being here. Middle Managers. GESPA. I didn't see anybody from the foundation, but do we have any Granted Education Foundation? All right, and I know we do have our Mayor Sudbury here. Thank you for being here. Is there any other elected officials that? Oh, Megan Olson, I'm sorry. And Majesty Castle, I apologize. Thank you for being here. And then GASA.
We also have South Salt Lake Council woman. Raise your hand. Right?
Oh. Thank you.
Sorry, I couldn't see around Mitch's head. My bad.
It's not a comment on Mitch's head. Okay. And then any administrators, principals, GASA, will you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn the time over to Steve Sandberg for our Pledge of Allegiance.
If you are able, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Before we turn the time over to, we have a great reverence planned, but we want to recognize, first of all, that we've had a very hard, tough day here in the district, that our Cypress community is hurting. Thank you. And we want to take a moment of silence, if you all will. Let us just take a moment to think about that. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and turn the time over to, is it Luke? Are you going to introduce the reverence? Dave Beck. And we'll invite the board members to, and the superintendency to go down to the audience.
All right, my name is David Beck. I'm the principal at Granite Connection High School. I've been there for 5 years. I've loved it. We have tonight some students that participated in our talent show. We've got many wonderful, talented students at our school. We've done a talent show the last couple of years, and it's really just been an awesome experience to see our students be able to showcase some of their abilities. And so we had some voting this year, and our winners are here to perform for you a musical number that they will sing it much better than I will pronounce it. Mi Meti en el Ruedo. They said I nailed it. Okay. So we'll invite Rigoberto Perez, Brian Cortez, and Michael Eros to come on up and perform for you.
I appreciate the opportunity I got to play in this meeting. I hope you guys like it. Pensar que ha sido fácil llegar al puesto que tengo, solo porque me feria no saben de dónde vengo, cuánto he batallado en tener lo que quiero. Apenas corta edad, pero yo he sido inteligente, haciendo movimientos con la gente de este ambiente, genero billete, verdes para moverme. Y miraba gente alivianada con mucho billete, yo también quería, no me quedaba de otra que meterme al ruedo, fue por mi familia, marcas exclusivas se han visto de Gucci, Versace, en antros distinguidos, en una mesa privada tomando con quienes si son mis amigos. La vida te da mil golpes, unos fuertes y otros que ni te imaginas. Por eso ando caminando para adelante a pesar de muchas caídas. Cuido donde vengo y así es como me mantengo. Hay muchos traicioneros que me vieron y se fueron porque me miraron que no traen ni un peso. Una troca vieja o tal vez una del año, ya me miran pasar con la música retumbando. Es que soy alegre y me gusta el relajo. Ya andamos mucho mejor que antes, tal vez fue por suerte o por inteligencia, pero de aquí no me tiran, yo ando al tirante, Dios pone y te quita. En Michigan donde radico me apodan Eli, ya que andamos al tiro, hay que seguir festejando con un buen huesqueto y música en vivo. La vida te da mil golpes, unos fuertes y otros que ni te imaginas. Por eso ando caminando para adelante a pesar de muchas caídas.
Big smiles. 1, 2, 3. Another round of applause.
Thanks so much, you guys. That was amazing. So good. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, which is our good news minute. This is agenda item number 4. And if it's okay, Julie, we'll start with you.
I have two things from both the high schools, two of my high schools that I represent. One, Olympus High men's basketball took state, and that's exciting. But it's mostly exciting because it's the third time in a row that they've done this. And that's only happened in the state of Utah, I think 3 other times in history. And so this is a really huge accomplishment. Not to mention that I think in the last 6 years, they've had even more state championships. So congratulations to that team and to that coach. I also, I also just wanted to make sure to make mention of the Skyline Robotics Club. They had a competition this Saturday, and they're a rookie team. So it's like you do Lego League, and then the secondary version of that is Robotics Club. And these guys were phenomenal. They're a brand new team, and they placed in the top, I think they were maybe 6th, which is phenomenal. And these kids could speak to me so intelligently about what they were doing. And I was pretty blown away by their work and their problem solving and their creativity, their excitement, their team camaraderie. Like, I could go on and on. It was just phenomenal. So congratulations to that team, and also to there are some really dedicated parents there who were working on that with them.
Thanks, Julie. Kim?
So I was able to attend several meetings, community councils this month, but wanted to highlight, I was able to attend Hunter Junior's play on Friday. Just the most, I guess one of the funnest things to see was that the crowd there was all students and just like thoroughly enjoying, supporting their fellow students on the stage. The level of cheering coming from the crowd throughout that play was pretty cool. So they did a really good job. So just recognizing there's a lot of plays going on. There will be for some weeks to come. And also a lot of our athletes doing really good things right now, as Julie mentioned. So just, throwing a note out to all of them that you're doing really well. Keep up the good things.
Thanks, Kim. Connie?
So, within the district, we have what's called the unified sports, unified groups. And the basketball teams got together and had a competition. And I love going to see our special ed kids work with some of their not classmates, but some of the other kids in the school. And they have a competition. So they played 8-minute quarters, and they had special, I just watch the games. I don't know how well the things are, but it's just fun, and I'm so grateful to the high schools who are trying and have the unified sports in most of our high schools now. So they competed against each other, but also they brought other from various places in the state came, and they had both gyms of the Olympus High going, and they would play just a short time, and then they'd rest, and then they'd go play some more. Wonderful, wonderful, and thanks to the high schoolers for doing that.
Thanks, Connie. Chris?
Having a hard time. Sorry. I just want to look for some silver linings today. We had a lot of good things happen in our district this month. Lots of sports playoffs, lots of junior high musicals, things, events, but I just want to highlight all of our district responders today. We have such good professionals in our district who are looking out for each and every kid and every family. And I was so impressed today at Cypress at the response from our people. I just am a little bit overwhelmed today, so I'm very sorry. But we have people who come in when there's a tragedy occur in our schools, and they get to work immediately. They know what to do. They know what to say. They know how to respond. I'm grateful for that. So grateful for that today. Grateful for our communications team. Luke headed that up so beautifully. Thankful for Leslie, Tyler, Scott. They were on site. They were there the whole time, helping our staff and our teachers and our students. And they'll be there till as long as they need to be. So I want to thank them. And that's my good news today. Thank you.
Go ahead, Karen.
It is a little bit of a somber meeting tonight, but I want to share that I have spent many hours over this past month, both at region and especially the state swim tournament. And so we're going to be recognizing here shortly some academic all-states, and I hope that we have some swimmers with us. I know it's basketball too, but when you come to shake my hand, will you please let me know if you're a swimmer, because I saw you swim, even if I might not recognize your face. So yeah, I would love to know that. But it was a 2-day tournament at state for 5A, which involves all of our schools except for Cottonwood High. They're 4A. But all the other Granite schools are 5A. And so it was the state 5A competition a couple weekends ago at BYU. And we did very well. I was there personally cheering on my daughter, who swims for Granger. And I was proud of Granger because they're an extremely small team. Granger doesn't have a large team at all, but 2 of their women relays qualified for state. And we did have a region champ in the breaststroke there. So it was really cool to go cheer on my Lancers. That's my area. But at the same time, wearing my school board member hat, it was fun to cheer. We had representation from every single one of those 7 high schools. So it was fun to cheer as I heard Kearns and Hunter and Taylorsville, all of them, Cypress. And Julie, you didn't mention this, but congratulations to Olympus, who also won state. So there you go. So they are also state champions, I believe, in swim. Do we have any Olympus people here?
Girls.
Yes. Olympus high swimmers? Give us a wave if you're here.
Yeah!
All right, there you go. Okay. So it was really fun, and as I was, the very last event, which was done at about 9:45 p.m. because they start at 5, it takes that long, and it was the 200 free relay, and I looked at and I snapped a picture for my board because it was Olympus, first place, Skyline, second place, Kearns, third place. And I thought, we swept the podium, go Granite. So it was just super fun to be there and support out of our school. So congratulations to the swimmers for all their hard work and a good end of the season.
Thanks, Karen.
I'm going to go off script for just a second. I was well prepared for what I was going to say, but I'm going to take a quick detour for just a moment. Many of you who know me better than some know that I'm a bit cynical at times. I'm pretty blunt. A couple of years ago, I found myself in a group of parents and community members just in a discussion about our schools. And I answered a number of questions, and some of them were tough questions about some of the challenges that we face as a public school system and as a public school district. And at the end of that conversation, one of the individuals who no longer has children in our schools asked me the question, well, what can we do to build up our schools more? And I said to this person, I said, I think I've evolved a tremendous amount in this regard. And my suggestion to him was to accentuate the positive, which was not something that I was known for doing necessarily. And I think it's important to do at times. We don't want to sweep under the rug the challenges that we do have, but to Chris's comments tonight, sometimes in the face of tragic circumstances, we have some amazing individuals in our district that do amazing things in that face of tragedy. And that needs to be recognized and accentuated at every opportunity. In that same vein, I want to mention one other thing. Our principal of Granite Connection, who's here tonight, who supported these fine students that performed for us, he invited me to attend an assignment or the execution of an assignment that his entire school at Granite Connection High School has to fulfill, and that is that each and every student has to give a graduation speech to their peers. They take this assignment extremely seriously, and Principal Beck even commented that he caught, that's not the right word, but he caught students in the restroom, a couple of young men practicing in the restroom, and his humorous comment was, "Hey guys, I can find a better place for you to practice." But that's how seriously they took this opportunity. I was so impressed at watching and listening to these speeches. Sometimes I think I jump to assumptions or presumptions about what brought students to Granite Connection High School. And I don't think that those are correct, because each student has a unique set of circumstances. But I ended up taking a couple of notes, and I want to share a few of them with you tonight about some profound things that I heard from a group of seniors that will be graduating here in a couple of months. They said things like, "I've finished one of the things that I have to do in life. I asked God for help, but there will still be bumps in the road, because what would life be without bumps? I realized I would have to pick myself up. This is adulting day. Excuses have ended." One expressed sincere appreciation for teachers, administrators, and the custodians. "We are becoming the future of America. They, the administration and my teachers, knew I could do it. We are on our way to wiser choices. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. Success doesn't come for free. Stay humble and never give up. And I'm grateful for my experiences and to learn from them." I walked away from that experience really impressed and really inspired at what our teachers and our administrators do in every one of our schools to bring this rising generation to the forefront of our communities. So thank you for that. And then I wanted to piggyback one comment on what Connie said about the unified basketball tournament. I had the opportunity to pop in there as well. And I was a little bit coming in on the tail end of it, and I hustled in. And I was standing at the side of one of the basketball courts, taking it all in, and a young player, that's a member of one of those unified teams, walked right past me, and he said, "Hey, I like your outfit," which never happens to me.
Thanks, Clark. Feels like it's been a busy month, but it's gone by very fast. I've enjoyed going to a few community councils, as well as we've had the donut visits for our high MGP and HPG. I got to visit, I was late to Beehive Elementary. I had it on my calendar at the wrong time. And Truman is so on time that I got there at 8:01 and they had already done it at 8 o'clock. So bravo for them being on time, and for me, I shouldn't have stopped at the yellow light. That's my takeaway. But it was fun to be able to go and visit with those people. I got to catch Peter and the Starcatcher at Taylorsville High School. If you've never seen Peter and the Starcatcher, it's kind of the backstory of Peter Pan. It's delightful. They're hilarious. You guys should go catch it. It's this weekend as well. And I am excited to report that Taylorsville High School has beautiful seats, new seats installed in the auditorium, and they are delightful to sit in and no longer hurt you when you sit down in them. I went and attended a jazz concert there, and it was great to have that. I do want to recognize, because our legislative session is coming to an end, we have some incredible people who put in long hours during this legislative session to make sure that they are apprised of what is happening with education bills, and also go up there and testify very often. They're called on to testify. They're asked by the legislators, and they also asked to testify because it's something that affects Granite. And we appreciate, I just want to recognize both Todd and Ben for the incredible time that they put in up there on the Hill for us during this legislative session. It is grueling. I always feel bad for their wives because I'm not sure that they get seen very often at home during this time, but we really appreciate them, and I know that they are there fighting for our students, and I appreciate their voice and their strong relationships that they have with the legislators, so thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. That will conclude our Good News Minute, and we're going to move on to our recognitions. We're going to invite Aaron Whitehead up first to do the Winter Academic All-State Athletes.
Thanks. President McDermott, members of the board, Superintendent Horsley, this is always really an enjoyable thing to recognize these student athletes. Their overall grade point average is a 4.0, and so the qualifications is to have that 4.0 and to be a part of a varsity team. And so it's recognizing the hard work they put in on the classroom level. And so students, as I read your name, please come on down and meet the board. They'll get your picture with them. And then once you're done, come on out into the foyer. We have a swag bag for you. It'll be fun for you to get that. And then if I don't read your name, come down and tell me, and we'll make sure you get your swag bag and get recognized. And then patrons, please hold your applause till the end, until they've all been announced. And so to start out, we'd like to recognize Angelina Cheng from Hunter. She was an academic at All-State in both cheer and girls basketball. Beckham Bales from Cyprus in boys basketball. Caden Jackson from Olympus in boys basketball. Donica Bihari from Skyline in cheer. Grace Winder from Granger in girls swim. Hannah Perry from Olympus in girls swim. Joshua Johnson from Taylorsville in boys swim. Kira Jameson from Skyline for girls swim. Presley Castro from Hunter for cheer. And Riley Woodman from Cypress for drill. Please, let's give these students a round of applause. And then again, students right outside this door will get you hooked up.
Guys, that's a 4.0. 4.0. That's amazing.
All right, we're going to invite next Dr. Joan Bramble to come up. We've got our 2020.
Sorry, Board President.
Oh,
would
I'm
it be
sorry.
Okay?
You're right. Any parents of those athletes, will you please stand and be recognized as well?
We see you in the hallway and we celebrate you.
We recognize that there's a lot of support that goes into this, so we appreciate what you guys do for your students as well. All right, now we are going to invite Dr. Joan Bramble up for our 2024-25 highest MGP.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm going to turn the time over to Valerie Bergera, who's going to announce our winners tonight.
Thank you for this opportunity, Madam President, Superintendent Horsley, members of the Board of Education Superintendency, and Dr. Bramble, for giving me this opportunity. I'm here tonight to recognize the performance of a few of our schools that stand out for their academic growth from last year's end-of-level assessments in Granite District. So the following schools were successful with students related to academic growth. The state provides a growth calculation by comparing the performance of individual students on the end-of-year assessments with other students who scored similarly. A student growth percentile, or SGP, is a ranking from 1 to 99. That explains that comparison. So a student with an SGP of 85, for example, has scored as well or better than 85% of that student's academic peers. A percentile ranking of between 35 and 65 would be considered moderate growth, while an SGP of 66 or above would be considered high growth. These individual SGPs are lined up to lowest to highest to arrive at a median growth percentile, or MGP, that's used to explain growth at a school level. We've asked for representatives from these schools to come tonight, and they'll be receiving a trophy for their accomplishments. I just want to say that as I spoke with members of these schools, the one thing that really stood out is that this is not in any way an individual accomplishment. It is a team working together, collaboration, which is administration, teachers, instructional coaches, reading coaches, paraprofessionals, students, communities. Like, it takes many people to be able to accomplish what these schools have been able to do. So as I read your name, please come to the front, and Dr. Nerden, if you would please help hand out the trophies. So please come up, shake hands with our board, and then if you wouldn't mind, remain here for a group picture. I ask that you please hold your applause until the end of the recognition. So tonight we have the opportunity to recognize 6 elementary schools, 3 junior highs, and 1 high school for their high MGP. Some of these schools have had a change in administration, so there might be 2 administrators coming up for this recognition. So we'll start with the first and the highest MGP, which is Rosecrest Elementary with a 72.5. In speaking with representatives of Rosecrest, they would say that the systems that are in place in their school, their PLCs that are a collaborative approach with teachers and coaches, and their coaches are a big reason that contributes to the growth in their school. So congratulations, Rosecrest. Our second school, Cottonwood Elementary, with an MGP of 67.5. Yep, I will you guys just scoot over this way so they can take their picture? Yeah, come on over, keep coming, keep coming. I know, I was too fast. I'm slowing down. Awesome job, Rosecrest. Cottonwood Elementary, they are a repeat. They have been here for 5 years in a row getting this MGP trophy. So as I asked them, what's the magic at Cottonwood? Here's what they had to say. PLCs, the work with coaching support, interventionists, and the fact that everyone in the school owns the data. So it's everyone's students. I know.
Let's tell them they're here. Clearly.
Okay, our next school is Robert Frost Elementary with an MGP of 66. The staff at Frost said that what they worked on was high expectations for students, letting all students know that they can do it. The kids knew what the goals were that they were working towards. They were maximizing instructional time and had a commitment and drive to help the kids be successful. Congratulations. Are you 5 years in a row too? Awesome. Okay, and next, Harry S. Truman Elementary with an MGP of 64. Now, Truman is a small school, and they wanted to emphasize that what they have done with coaching is amazing. Last year, they had teachers complete 79 coaching cycles during the year. Their PLCs were all around data, collaboration, and teacher clarity.
Oh my goodness, congratulations, you guys.
It is our item. I thought it was Eastwood. So this
Next, we have Eastwood Elementary with an MGP of 61.5. Come on up, Eastwood. Eastwood Elementary has also been here several years in a row with high MGP. Things that they contribute this success to are their community support, their differentiation to meet the needs of all students, vertical collaboration and teaming, and in a small school, they really know their students. Awesome job. All right, next, James E. Moss Elementary with an MGP of 60.5. The staff at Moss has been working with the University of Utah Reading Clinic looking at reading data. They have a STEAM teacher that helps target the students who need interventions and provide the right support. They're doing awesome things with PLCs and collaboration as well.
I will.
Okay, and for our junior highs, we had a three-way tie. So these junior highs all have an MGP of 50. We'll start with Churchill Junior High. Come on up. Churchill has an awesome data wall, and they focused on relationship building and providing targeted support to students. Great job.
Nice job. Congratulations. Yes, thanks for being here.
Next, Granite Park Junior High. And if you remember, Granite Park was here last month for proficiency. Awesome job. Granite Park had a monthly instructional focus they were working on together, classroom observations and feedback, looking at school-wide data and sharing out goals, and the monthly focus was students and staff. Proficiency and growth, awesome. Okay, and next, Wasatch Junior High, come on up. Wasatch was working on student engagement, rigor in the classroom, and good Tier 1 instruction. Congratulations.
Great job.
Okay, I'm excited to have you see us.
I used to change his diapers.
No, it's just crazy.
Okay, and to our high school. Skyline High School had an MGP of 54. Come on up. And Skyline is the only school I did not get to ask that question to. So what what was something you felt like you did that might have contributed to this growth?
I just really believe amazing teachers, amazing support home, amazing faculty, their previous principal. A lot of amazing people in place.
Awesome. Collaboration, teamwork. Good job, you guys. And I also think we can't take the student part out of that. Like, we wouldn't be able to accomplish any of these things in these schools if our kids weren't committed and working hard, taking risks. So, congratulations to all the schools.
Thanks, you guys. We'd like to invite Ann Reese up next. She is here to recognize our National Board Certified Teachers.
Thank you so much. All right, Board President McDermott, board members, Superintendent Horsley, and members of the executive leadership team. I am here tonight to recognize our National Board Certified Teachers. As you're aware, it's a rigorous voluntary credential created by teachers to recognize the highest standards in education. To earn it, our educators must prove their classroom mastery and positive impact on student learning through intensive assessment of student portfolios, teaching videos, and written reflections. More than a personal milestone, this certification reflects a lifelong commitment to student success. Research shows that board-certified teachers elevate student achievement and strengthen their school communities. Tonight, we proudly celebrate the hard work and dedication of 4 newly certified teachers and 1 recertified teacher who has successfully recertified this year. Their accomplishment represents an unwavering commitment to teaching mastery and the future of our students. So we're going to ask everyone to hold their applause until everyone's up front, and I'll apologize in advance. The engraver still has our trophies. Their engraving machine broke. So we will deliver your trophies, and tonight for your picture, we ask that you proudly hold up your tiny little pin. So you will have something, but we will get you your trophies. So please help me in recognizing our 4 new National Board Certified Teachers. We have Joni Andrews from Hart-Vixen. Hold your applause if you don't mind, because we've got a few. Chantel Esquivas from Olympus High School. Abigail Ford from Taylorsville Elementary. Yes, come this way. Tracy Jensen from Woodstock Elementary. And our recertified teacher, Justin Wheatley from Granite Connect. Please help me give them a round of applause. I'd also like to invite Deborah Gatrell up for the picture. She holds the National Board Certified program in Granite together. It would not happen without Deborah, so if she'd like to come up.
While they're taking their picture, I want to recognize National Board Certified teachers spend hundreds of hours doing this. It is a very rigorous commitment and shows a lot of hard work, dedication, as well as a master teacher. So we really want to make sure we recognize these teachers for the incredible talent that they have.
Somebody back there, take the picture. Is everybody good?
All right, and then we are going to invite up James Taylor for a special recognition.
Good evening, President, Superintendent, members of the board. It's a pleasure for me to be here tonight to recognize Dr. Mandy Chappell for a couple of very special awards. I'm going to ask her to help me hold on to these so I don't drop them. There you go. A couple of very special awards that she recently received at the Utah Association of Career and Technical Education Conference. This is an annual conference where teachers gather, teachers, counselors, administrators from across the state gather to teach one another, to celebrate what's right with career and technical education. And prior to this conference, there's nominations and voting that goes on all across the state. At the division level, the association is broken out by divisions, and then also there's some general elections that are held as well. And I'm pleased to recognize in front of the board this evening that Dr. Chappell not only received the Administrator of the Year award for the administrative division, but also the overall Administrator of the Year for the Utah Association of Career and Technical Education. So we're pleased for that, and honor is well deserved.
Somehow we need to get the second one. I know. It's very CT. I was going to say, you need the red. Thank you so much and congratulations. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 6. This is our grounded elected officials participation. We do recognize that we have some elected officials here, and we'd like to invite you, if you would like to say a few words, you're welcome to. If not, it's okay. No, that's fine. That's all right.
Could I just say something? I just want you to know that in the crisis this morning, it was good that we have this amazing relationship with our Magna City officials. That I immediately reached out to Mayor Sudbury, and he was on the scene at that moment. And then I got to see him a little bit later when I arrived as well. And just to have those kind of relationships, then we corresponded on some legislation that we think will have an impact on this. And we just thank you for your ongoing incredible support of Granite School District and our students. So thank you for being here.
All right, as we move on into public comment, I want to remind those who have signed up that they will have 3 minutes to speak, and be mindful of the timer that Ms. Michelle has. Do you have it? She'll time you. Sorry. Speakers will be called in the order which they signed up, and this will apply later also to our public comment. The public may sign up to share public comment at graniteschools.org/board/public comment. Once your name is called, please come forward and state your name clearly in the microphone. All comments are recorded, so please speak clearly into the microphone. Once the timer expires, we ask that you promptly return to your seat. Comments may express support or dissent for regulatory actions. However, public comment is not the appropriate forum for personnel complaints or for attacking or defaming individuals. Doing so is a direct violation of our policy, and you will be asked to stop immediately and return to your seat. If you have a personal concern, please contact a member of the administration or put your concerns in writing to the board. Please remember that children may hear your comments. Be thoughtful and professional. Keep your comments appropriate for a general audience. The board is here to listen during public comment, but we are not able to respond to any comments or questions that you may have. A member of the administration may follow up with you later if needed. We do have one person signed up for public comment, and we'd like to invite Trina Christensen to come up. Please state your name and your address into the microphone, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi there, my name is Trina Christensen. I just wanted to introduce myself. I am running for State School Board in District 8. I just wanted you to get to know me. I'm just here to listen. What a great night to come and hear about all the incredible work that Granite District is doing. And whether you're going to vote for me or not, I just wanted to introduce myself, and I'm here all night. If you would like to share any thoughts with me, I am here, so thank you.
Thank you, Trina. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 8. Oh, I'm sorry. We have some people who are here for the fee schedule comments, and we have you signed up, and we want to recognize that, but that will happen when we have the fee schedule discussion. So we will have a public comment time for that. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the consent agenda, which is item number 8. We've had this information for a few days and have been able to ask any questions. So if there are no questions, we'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion on it? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, motion passes. Thank you. We're going to move on to our action items. This is agenda item number 9. We've got 2. First, we have administrative appointments. Again, we've had this for a few days, been able to ask questions if needed, and if there are no further questions, I will entertain a motion for that.
I move that we accept the administrative appointments.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the administrative appointments. Is there any further comment on this? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Yes, are you going to introduce them? We're going to have Todd take it over for just a minute.
We're excited as you look at the administrative appointments. One is for our new purchasing director. So David, if you'd stand up, I'd like to recognize you. He was our successful candidate. We had awesome people to work with, and Dave rose to the top. And so we're excited to have him here. He comes with a great deal of experience. He comes from he's a senior purchaser coming from a big school district. So we'll have some great knowledge and experience coming into the district. And also he has experience working with the state and comes with a JD as well. So we've got a highly talented gentleman here standing in our midst. Thank you for accepting and being part of our team.
Would you like to recognize who's here with you? We're very excited to have you join our team. We're not used to a purchasing director with hair, so we look forward to that'll be something new for us. So thanks for being part of us.
I did tell Jared, I said, do we have to approve this? Because he's not allowed to leave. But this makes me feel so much better. You're going to be great. Thank you so much. We appreciate having you here. And then, is there somebody else that I need to turn over to? Leslie? Okay. I can't remember who it was.
Good evening, board. I'd like to invite Dr. Mandy Chappell to come up and announce our GTI principal candidate.
All right, President McDermott, Superintendent Horsley, members of the board and the superintendency, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the next principal of the Granite Technical Institute as Mr. Scott Chalmers. Just to let you get to know Scott a little bit more, Scott has more than 25 years of experience working in Granite School District and 28 years of service in the Utah Army National Guard. Scott began his teaching career at Granger High School and subsequently moving to the GTI to teach 3D animation and 3D graphics, which became Utah's first K through 12 3D animation program. During his teaching tenure, he expanded enrollment and created concurrent enrollment credit opportunities for students. Scott also completed an administrative internship at Eisenhower Junior High before leaving education briefly for the Utah National Guard. Currently, Scott serves as a colonel and brigade commander in the Utah Army National Guard. His experience includes organizational leadership, staff development, operations management, and strategic planning. In addition to the military, Scott currently works at the GTI doing graphic design and promotional marketing. Scott holds a Master of Science in Military and Strategic Leadership from the U.S. Army War College and a Master Master of Education in Educational Administration from the University of Utah. As you know, the GTI is a very unique position. We deal mainly with career and technical education and thinking outside of the box, and I know that Scott will come in and fulfill that role to a T. So we want to go ahead and thank Scott for being here. Scott, will you go ahead and introduce who you brought with us today?
My wife Jenny, and this is my daughter Paige, and my son Mark.
Thank you.
All right, board, we'd like to invite the director of preschool, Emily Ripko, to come up and with her appointment.
Good evening, President McDermott, members of the board, and Superintendent Horsley. I'm here this evening to happily announce Katie Gardner as the new Assistant Director in Granite Preschool. Katie is a stellar educator from a family of educators and education leaders. She started her career here in Granite in 2011 as a preschool special class teacher. She went on to work closely with Utah State University to help establish and grow our preschool ASSERT program for students with autism, and eventually transitioned into the district office as an ASSERT specialist and behavior specialist for preschool. Katie's been a member of our leadership team for the past 5 years as a special education coordinator and will be the new preschool assistant director. Congratulations, Katie. Would you like to introduce us to who you brought this evening?
My sons, Cooper and Cannon, my husband Chris, and my mother-in-law, and my wonderful director,
Thank you so much. All right, we have a second action item. This is our curriculum adoption for elementary science. And so we're going to invite Dr. Converse and Christine Drummond up to review this with us before we have a vote.
Thank you, President McDermott and board members, superintendent. This should be pretty quick, but we are really excited to show you some of the comments that we received regarding this adoption. And so I will turn it over to Christine Drummond, our Associate Director over elementary learning. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to see you again. So we are here to do our second review. And just as a quick update or reminder, there are 3 pieces of legislation that are part of this instructional materials acquisition. So we have the Senate Bill 55, and that is based on Utah code. And then our Granite board policy supports that existing legislation. Law and policy require that we make the instructional material available for parent and patron view, and then it establishes an open process involving educators and parents enrolled in the LEA to review and recommend instructional materials for board approval. And so we met these adoption requirements by posting the learning material online and offering to have patrons come in to review and comment and physically see the materials. So we are at the second public meeting on the recommendation and providing opportunity for opinion. And then we are providing you with the opportunity to consider adoption of the instructional materials in this board meeting. Just as a reminder, these are the priorities that align with mystery science. This is why we are proposing this adoption. And last month, I shared some examples of some mystery science lessons and the corresponding activities and hands-on learning. And these are the links once again. So Patron feedback, the overall sentiment is highly positive. There's strong support for its interactive and inclusive nature. So 75% of our patrons are supportive. There were 6 comments that expressed direct support or positive experiences. 25% were neutral and mixed. So 1 comment was asking to review the materials in person, and 1 asked about inquiry-based instruction, and we'll get into that a little bit. So the key highlights that patrons mentioned were the ease of implementation. It has hands-on resources and easy-to-find supplies. This one is affordable, aligned to NGSS and local core standards. Another highlight is its inclusivity and accessibility. I appreciate this celebrating Black scientists and inventors lessons. I also like the opinion to learn in Spanish. And then engagement. The materials were interactive, cross-disciplinary, inclusive of global discovery. They encouraged the students to participate in the scientific process. So the concerns that were brought our way, we received a question regarding why heavily inquiry-based methods are used for young children, ages 5 through 10, instead of direct instruction for established concepts like gravity. And so we responded and explained that we use guided inquiry, blending student exploration with explicit teacher instruction. We gave the example that we have students build model trapeze to experience motion before a teacher formally introduces the scientific definition of gravity. And this will ensure students meet the Utah SEED standards by making sense of real-world phenomena. Another concern was that the materials were on screen, and a patron asked if they were accessible via paper. And we responded that Mystery Science is low-tech and classroom-friendly. The videos are used for hooks, but the bulk of the student work, such as data collection and observation, is completed using printable PDF and hands-on materials. Educator feedback, the overwhelmingly majority of feedback is positive. Teachers frequently describe the tool as invaluable, engaging, and a gift for time-pressed educators. 94% of the comments were supportive, and 6% were neutral and mixed. We had 2 comments that I added to that live link spreadsheet that we sent to you last week. I added them this morning, and they are highlighted in purple, but those 2, in addition to what you see in front of you, were both positive. For the neutral and mixed, they generally expressed a desire to keep the program, but noted specific concerns regarding supply costs or alignment, and we will get to that in a minute. Educators mentioned that there is high engagement. Teachers across all of our grade levels, K through 5 and special ed, report that students are excited about science, often cheering when the program is opened. Ease of use. The open and go format is cited as the primary reason teachers are able to fit science into their busy schedules. And pedagogical strength, educators value the inquiry-based approach, high-quality visuals, and the modeling of the scientific process through student-led questions. These are some of the supportive comments from teachers. First one, without this resource, I would teach science less often. I don't have a lot of time to plan for 4 different subjects, so this resource helps me teach a science lesson. Second, mystery science is invaluable for our learning in 4th grade. Students engage in experimentation, data collection, and analyzation. Third comment. Since 5th graders are tested in science, I feel that it is the district's responsibility to continue to provide a high-quality approved program. Mystery Science ensures all students in Granite School District receive a consistent, standards-aligned curriculum. And one of our neutral mixed pieces of feedback was, I think Mystery Science is a great resource, but better for some grade levels than others. So we had a couple of questions. One was, is there a fast and easy way to get the materials custom to our usage in our district? And so our elementary science specialist is going to be contacting Mystery Science to explore how we can streamline material management and creating custom kits that are tailored to our district needs. Second question, do we have a textbook or a teacher's manual? We clarified that Mystery Science is a digital open and go platform rather than a textbook, and then provided guidance on how to locate those digital teacher guides, prep pages, and even links to our science bank of lessons that our district created. There were a couple of concerns. A teacher noted that the quality of materials varies by grade levels, specifically stating second grade materials fall short of curriculum expectations. And so we are having our elementary science specialists analyze these resources in second grade to determine if additional lessons are needed. Another concern, a teacher felt the program lacks the rigor needed for state testing and does not require enough independent problem solving. And so we clarified that Mystery Science supports the RISE assessment through the unit assessments. They mirror state testing by requiring students to analyze data and gather information from text. We recommend using supplementary tools like the RISE benchmarks to ensure full test readiness. So a summary of the feedback overall. Both educators and the community provided overwhelmingly positive feedback. The majority of commenters recommend that the district continue to fund and adopt Mystery Science as an instructional material, describing it as an invaluable asset to their science instruction. Some of the strengths are student engagement. Teachers report that students are highly engaged, excited, and often begging for more science. Patrons also appreciate the interactive and fun nature of the lessons. There is a very teacher-friendly usability. Educators heavily praise the open and go format, the low prep design, complete with lesson plans and intuitive interfaces. It is a time saver for busy teachers and easy for substitutes to implement. There's a strong curriculum and accessibility. It aligns well with the Utah SEED and NGSS standards. It's commended for its inclusivity, offering strong visual scaffolding and Spanish language options that effectively support our multilingual learners and special ed students. And then effective inquiry-based models. Both teachers and the public appreciate the focus on the scientific process, using hooks and anchor phenomena to drive curiosity, critical thinking, and hands-on discovery. Some of the concerns were the need for hands-on materials. The most frequent constructive feedback from teachers is the need for the district to provide the mystery packs or material kits. Gathering supplies for the experiments can be time-consuming and expensive for individual teachers. Alignment with state testing rigor. A small number expressed concerns that while the curriculum is highly engaging, its assessments may not fully match the rigor and format required to prepare students for the RISE state tests. Methodology and minor gaps. One comment pointed out minor curriculum gaps in specific grade levels, such as second grade. Additionally, one patron questioned the heavy reliance on inquiry-based learning for younger children, ages 5 to 10, suggesting that some foundational concepts might benefit from more direct instruction. And so we recommend the adoption of Mystery Science for elementary beginning in the 2026 through 27 school year and lasting through the 2030-31 school year. Our rationale is the teacher feedback indicates students in K-5 will benefit from the use of the proposed instructional materials based on the content, engagement strategies, lesson approach, and familiarity with the product. There's also a cost-benefit rationale. Adoption of the tool in K-5 will be seamless due to the existing supplementary use of the product and integration with the existing science lesson plans in Granite School District. There's no additional professional learning required, although we would offer some. Thank you.
Do we have any questions from the board? Okay, this is an action item. We needed 2 public readings on this and one vote on it. So if there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt the mystery science curriculum as recommended, as a first reading.
It's a final reading.
Oh, as a final reading.
Just kidding. I
But
misled
thank you. I
I'm so
usually
sorry.
don't get that right, so thank you.
Final review.
The final, yeah.
I'll second it.
Right, we have a motion and a second to adopt the mystery science curriculum as recommended as a final reading. Are there any further comments on this? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, now we're going to move on to our student fees. This is Steve Pershawn's favorite day.
Absolutely.
I know it is.
Good evening, members of the board. Yes, it's that time of year where we get to go over school fees and specifically to be able to talk about the maximum fee schedule for the upcoming school year. By way of overview on this, we're very proactive about having the practitioners in the school district be able to give feedback in real time throughout the year about what they're seeing on what the maximum fees have been and how it's meeting the needs of the individual schools. We have a Google form and we push that out regularly to the administrators saying, hey, if there's things that should be reconsidered, please let us know. And then we meet with the fee committee on a monthly basis all throughout the year to review those requests. And what's nice about that is that we have the individuals within the room who can weigh in because they have expertise in the different specialties related to the fees. So that's overall what our process has been, and I am pleased to say that unlike last year when there were so many changes that needed to happen with the fee schedule, largely because of legislation, this relatively is a lot more mild. Last year, this is a significant change that happened, and it's probably critical that we surface this and make sure that we're still aware of what practice is in place. A general fee based on legislation can no longer be charged starting this school year that we're currently in. This equates to $65 for each of our high school students and $40 for each of our junior high students. Class fees also cannot be charged for our core subjects. Our English, math, social studies, and science and health has been included in that as well. Now, to bridge this, the district deployed, and this is the current reality, a fee replacement allocation provided to schools for $55 per junior high students and $90 per high school student.
So that was last year. This year there's actually two bills that are currently on the Hill. They've not gone through all committees are on the floor yet. So we'll see till Friday. I have till Friday to decide whether these bills will pass. The first one is House Bill 121, sponsored by Representative Raymond P. Ward, which is a school fees amendment. This is an amendment regarding course fees which schools may charge a fee. And what this one would do to remove the charges for science. So there's five categories we can't charge fees in. The four core, which are English, math, social studies, and science, and health. And this would remove health, since most
science.
Remove science. Yes, excuse me, thank you. Remove science from that list. Again, we have to wait till Friday to decide. And it also clears definitions for fees, supplies, textbooks, equipment, and uniforms. So what we do on this one is if this passed, we would propose a fee of $15 for science classes, just to help pay for the lab materials and fees for that. Well, if that doesn't pass, then we don't have to worry about it. So it's not in the fee schedule yet. The second potential change is...
Steve, I'm
yes.
sorry. Can you go back a slide?
Yep.
Todd, I think this question is for you. Because that fee could no longer be charged, we needed the schools to still have that money. So we now gave the schools those two bulleted there, right? 55 and 90. And did that come from the school fee money that we got from the state, that transition money, or because I don't feel like that would have covered that?
Is this a setup question?
Well, I guess a little bit.
So the short answer is yes. The
It did cover it.
The state, not 100%. We received 50%. So we received about $1.5 million, and then you as a board identified another 1.5 that we could cover
Yes.
with one-time monies. So that's how this school year is being managed. There was a disruption to the state piece of money when executive appropriations allocated monies to the committees, and they took away that, for us, the 1.5 million. In the meantime, Senate Bill 2 has been written and the money is back in. So we're covered for this school year that we're in right now, but there is no money for next year or the following year. Next school year.
So let's see, I thought they committed to a 3-year transition period.
Correct.
Is it only 2?
It's a 1 year.
Well, we got the first year.
Well, we got it and then got it back.
We got it?
We had it, we lost it, got it back. So that's 1 year. And there's no money for year 2, no money for year 3.
So the money that's in the proposed budget right now, that was put back in, I guess, in SB 2, that is
For this.
the first year money that was, oh my gosh, I thought that we already received the first and that was the second year. Okay. And they are basically saying to us, and don't count on it for the other 2 years, which we had discussed.
Correct.
Okay, got it, thanks.
Was that $55 and $90 respectively? Was that for, specifically for these classes that we can no longer charge a fee for, or did that also help with the general fee that can no longer, is it both? It's both?
Yeah, all of the above.
No, that's a good point. And so what happens is every principal had to work with these core areas and decide a spend plan, and from this money they were able to determine how much to allocate to those classes. So yeah. So we talked about the science one. The second one is House Bill 142 from Representative Doug Welton. This is a school fee waiver amendment. This is a really interesting one. It amends provisions related to school fee waivers in defined terms. It limits the number of fee waivers a student may receive. So for instance, if a student goes on a trip that is fee waiverable, the first one would be fee waiverable. The second one requires the student to meet with the principal and determine whether that would be fee waiverable and whether the student would actually work some services off in the school, whether it be custodial work or tutor work, in order to receive that second fee waiver. It also establishes that the local LEA must establish a cap on fee waivers. So I assume that would go through the budget process or LEAs as well if that passes. Any changes on that?
Based on feedback from our practitioners and then reviewed by our fee committee, these highlight the recommended changes the fee committee is putting forward. First and foremost, you'll see on our school club dues based on inflations and specifically on increased costs for membership or national memberships, the recommendation to move from $35 to $50 for the maximum for those school club dues and competitions. Driver's ed, this one has been go ahead.
You said something there, and for the benefit of those watching and the public, you said this is the maximum that can be charged. This is the amount that will be charged. And
Absolutely.
could you explain that process really quick for the benefit of the public?
And I'm glad you brought that up. So our maximum fee schedule is just that. It sets the ceiling that no school could charge beyond. There's actually a nice process that goes through where clubs or teams go through a process saying, hey, these are the resources we need, these are the funding sources that we have to consider, and based on that, and the computer that helps do these calculations, it will actually say this is our out-of-pocket fee that we're asking from students, and that is not the maximum fee. It can never go beyond the maximum fee, but it often is much lower than that. On this one in front of us, this is competition school club dues, and that would really correlate to what the national memberships would require. Driver's ed has been operating at a loss, and this recommended increase is what would need to be put in place to be able to make driver's ed sustainable. There is, in Granite School District, and the fee committee reviewed this, great interest in being able to have a vibrant program. This is a life resource, a life skill that we want our students to be able to have. But right now it is hemorrhaging money, and this is a way to make it sustainable to meet the cost of the program. Still under outside organizations or private organizations, but it is an increase from $195 to $250.
For the school-sponsored admissions, this is a new fee we're looking at adding, which is athletic sports passes. With the loss of the basic fee, there's no way of charging the kids have just been paying an admission fee for whatever the region sets as the price, and each region sets that price. A lot of our surrounding districts have gone to just providing an athletic pass. So we're proposing 2 different passes, one for admission to an individual sport, so whether it be football season or basketball season, or one for an all sports, would cover the whole season. And that price would be set at $20 for an individual sport and $40 for the all sport pass. And that's for home games.
Have we thought about or asked about having a parent pass for any of these? I know I've had parents ask, so I'm asking.
It's certainly something we could look at. Is that something you want us to dive into?
We're actually, we're working with our athletic director on a family pass and some other options as well. The challenge with that, and we're working through that, is, as Steve just mentioned, and I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but a lot of those fees are established by the region themselves, so we'd have to do something in conjunction with and we're in a couple of different regions, so it's not just uniform across all of our schools, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I just want to make sure and point out that while we do want our parents to come, we also count that as revenue, right? And it's important because those sports are so darn expensive, and this doesn't cover the cost. So, I mean, if we decided to do that, we would have to look at that as a revenue loss, and where do we make up that money on our budget, you know? And I'm not saying it's not worth it, because I do want our parents there, and I think it's a burden, a financial burden to get there. So I just want to make sure we're weighing that out right.
Yeah, I recognize that, but I guess that's where I've had parents reach out that said, I am there to every, and it depends on, it's been a lot of the drill moms, I'll admit that, but they have been to these competitions that nickel and dimed for every single thing.
And they've already paid $3,000.
They've already paid $3,000 for the program itself, so that's just where I'm coming from.
I think that's the feedback I get more than anything, is that we're hitting our parents coming and going. So they've already been hit with a significant fee. The fees have gone through the roof over the last, say, 5 years. Parents recognize that, and then on top of that, they're asked to pay for each member of their family to enter a varsity basketball game or a drill event that their family wants to be there to support them, and they've already paid that thousands of dollars in some cases, and then they're asked to come out of pocket again each and every night.
Yes.
Both home and away. It'd be one thing to only have to do it at away games, but for their own home games, it's painful.
And I could see that if it was away games only, but home games, yeah, I'm just wondering if there's something that we can do.
We can look at it. Some of our schools do it already.
We don't need to change that this year, but I think it's a serious talk that we need to have a conversation.
And Steve said this, but I do want to emphasize there is that balance of the board for each of these regions is also setting those prices, so we would need to go into it with our eyes wide open to that part of it.
Sure, and that's why I say I think if it's just a school, if it's your home game or a home competition, then let's talk about that. And maybe we can figure that out with the schools. But anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables there because each school has a different amount of home games and away games, and so finding that right fit is interesting. And then who do you allow? Is it just immediate family? You got some kids that are away to college. Do you count them? A lot of factors to figure out for that one.
Quick, just clarification question on the individual athletic sports pass. So let's say I want to, a student wants to buy it for football. Is that both home and away, or just home?
Only for home. We can't control away games.
Okay, so those are only the home games.
Most of our football teams average 4 or 5 home games. Right now the regions are charging between $8 to $10 per home game. So it's still a discount for them if they attended all the games. Basketball season's usually around 9 to 10 home games. And then the other one on that is dances, charging per student, moving that from $15 to $20 just for the cost of security, DJs, administration to do that. Next page is about CTE fees, and these are some changes. So the first one is a change to the fire science class that is currently a class offered to the GTI, raising that to $40 from $35. And that's to also align with a new class that GTI will be offering next year, which is wildland firefighters. So that'll be actually a firefighting class for people that fight wilderness fires. Matching that, so it'll be $40. So both classes will be $40 fee. Foods and nutrition, raising that from $20 to $30 to keep up with the cost of inflation for groceries, so our kids can continue to have labs and do the food experiments. We are removing gaming development, AR, VR, just because that class is no longer offered. class. The class is no longer available. It's a different change. A new fee is for hospitality and tourism. We offer that academy through GTI, but also we have a high school that is offering that class at the school. So a new fee for them. Medical interpreting to cover some of the supply costs and things they use for individual student equipment on that. The sports and outdoor design is actually an interesting name. That's actually a sewing class. It's more the sports type of sewing type of class, and that's just to align with the same fee we charge for sewing. We charge $40 for sewing, and so it just makes it so either class is that.
Can you just describe that class to me? I'm like, what exactly are they making in this class?
They're making sports jerseys. Sports jerseys, athletic wear.
The sewing's not the sport. What they're making is the sports stuff.
They're making Tyler's ski bibs.
Just wanted some clarification on that class. Thank you.
Exactly. And that's what that one is for. And then I talked about wildland fire. Any questions on CTE?
I'm just going to offer that I could start fires for free if anybody's really.
This year we're not going to need much help, I think, with the lack of water.
On page 5, the PE course maximum, this is an adjustment due to inflation that was recommended from our practitioners and reviewed by the committee to increase the lifetime sports of bowling from $80 to $100 and lifetime activities outdoor recreation to match that, also $80 to $100.
For the junior highs, we received no changes, no suggested fee changes for that is all. For elementary, there only is a little change in the verbiage, and that's because it's state law. It says all fees for elementary school activities are those that occur either before or after the school day. We cannot charge fees during the regular school day in elementary schools. And then the final change is on a non-waivable and fine schedule, and that's just a non-waivable charge. And we wanted to be able to give students the opportunity to earn certifications and licenses. So for instance, I currently have a daughter who's in a health class, and they actually are having the American Red Cross come in and do CPR training. This would allow them to earn their CPR license, and so they'd have that certificate. So it's something they get to take away from the class. It's not required for the class, but it's something you take away. For our foods classes, they offer food handlers permits so they could walk away. That's something they could use for a first-time job. And also for our GTI classes, like for pharmacy tech, EMT, and Manny Chapel, just let me know for our education class, the teaching class, they actually can get a para license. So they can get a certification for that. So that this fee would cover that.
Story I thought was funny on this. Steve's daughter was in health class, and he knows the fee law well enough to know that they shouldn't be charged for health. And his daughter's school was charging for health. When he went in and learned more, it was because it was for the CPR certification, which he as a parent was interested in. And so that's what's nice about this change on the non-waivable charges and fine schedule.
And that's just market price for whatever
correct.
it costs. There's no inflationary number to that. It is just this license would cost this much, so.
So whatever American Red Cross covers or SafeCert covers, that's just the cost to cover the
okay.
Therefore, if you want it, it's an option. If you don't want it, you don't need to. So, this was mentioned last year, and we are now heading into the year where this is required. Beginning this next school year, an LEA must offer at least one pathway for 27 credits that fulfills graduation requirements and does not require a payment or waiver of any fees. So obviously, students go into course selection. They can pick a variety of different classes. School districts are required to be able to have at least one path forward where they could navigate through that and get to the 27 credits for graduation and not incur a fee along the way. We are really close to that, and we believe that by this next school year we'll have that in place. We're 3 courses short of that, and we're actually working with the course committee because if those become offered as online courses, that will allow that path forward, and then we'll be fulfilling this part of the requirement of the change in our fee schedules from the legislation. That is the overview for next school year. Can we entertain any questions?
I just want to say that while I don't feel that we were adequately reimbursed, shall I say, for the change in the fee schedule, I really appreciate what's happening here and where we're looking for a pathway for kids to be able to graduate with no fees. I personally would really like to see that in person for kids. I don't like the idea that I have to now go online in order to get that, especially because we know that we have a lot of kids who are not successful on the online programs. And I I mean, I like the idea behind this, even though we are in a financial bind because of it.
Yeah. And I'd love, Julie, to add a little clarification on that, that although some pieces of that would be online, a majority would not be. It'd still be in person and regular.
Well, it sounds like they would need 3 classes that they would need to take online. Is that correct? Is that what you said?
There's 3 online classes that would need to be added to our current online offerings to be able to make the path forward. I'm not sure exactly how many online classes would be required, but a bulk of the 27 credits would still be done through the normal procedure or traditional route of in-person school, but some components to get to the 27 credits would be online.
And currently, they can do all their core classes at the school because we can't charge a fee for those.
Correct. Yeah, all core classes.
Can you just speak to what those 3 classes are?
Yeah, I guess that's
The core
what I
classes?
mentioned. Do you know
No,
what
the 3
they are?
classes that we're missing.
The 3 classes we still need to develop is a third-year science class, a CTE class, and a fine arts class. Other than that, we have all the graduation requirements in online classes.
But I think what you're saying is that there's not a 3rd-year science class that I can take without a fee. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Right now, through Granite Online, they can take Earth Systems and Biology online.
I'm talking about in person.
In person, we can't charge a fee for science unless this change is made to the law. So they can
that's-
take all those classes in school.
So you're saying that we do have a pathway in person. We're now working to also have a pathway online.
Not quite. So the science one, I guess we're kind of talking out of both sides of our mouth because there's pending legislation.
Yeah.
So that legislation is going to steer this one way. Right now, no science class can charge a fee.
I think Todd has a little bit of clarity on the legislation, on the science.
So the House Bill 121 is still sitting in Rules Committee of the House. At this juncture in the legislature, it's not going to pass.
Okay. So then only 2.
And you said those 2 are?
CTE, a CTE course and a fine arts course.
And I'm so sorry that I am still, this is a little bit of a comedic moment in a movie where I still don't get what you're saying. That so that we need another CTE course that we can take with no fee in person in order to allow, and did you say health?
No,
fine arts. Health you can't charge for. But a fine arts in person, and then I can graduate 100% in person with no fees.
Not quite. So the requirement from the legislation is that there is a path forward, not saying it has to be in person or online, that each school district has some system, some path forward to be able to get all 27 credits through Granite School District without having to pay a fee or have a fee waiver. So although I recognize the desire to be able to do it all in person, right now what we're looking at is we're not quite there to have any path forward. We're 2 courses short to be able to pull it off in person or online, and those 2 courses that are being considered by the course committee would be online courses.
Okay.
So the 2 that are missing would be online courses to fill the gap.
Got it. And you got it that I would love for those to be in person.
And I'm acknowledging that.
Todd, correct me if I'm wrong too. If we went the other route where we wanted to designate courses within inside the school, the board would have to make a decision which of those courses we could fund.
Yeah.
So it's another funding mechanism. We'd have to say,
I hear
where are we
you.
going to additionally come up with this additional money, so we're not going to charge for this course, so we're going to have to subsidize it.
Yeah.
Is this about this, Clark, or can I ask?
Oh, it's about this, yes.
Okay, because I have something about this as well.
I think this is a really good segue for me to offer my annual distaste for this process. And I know I'm preaching to the wrong crowd here and to the choir in effect, but I think it is an absolute travesty, the amount of bureaucracy and red tape and administration that we continue to spend every year to try and ensure that we're in compliance with these laws and regulations when our charge is to educate the children in our communities. And so this objective to get to the point where there's no fee or there's a pathway of no fees, great. It should be that way for every single student that we educate. Whatever they choose their path to be in whatever specialization and whatever extracurriculars they want to play for. I get it. I get the nuances of extracurriculars and paying to participate in certain things. I get all that. But we're in the business of educating children. And I think this is all a gigantic travesty in terms of the amount of waste that is spent in nickel and diming to make sure we charge enough to this person or this family in order for them to become educated in our schools. And I'll leave it at that. So thanks for enduring me again this year. I'll say it again in 365 days.
But we have a second reading.
You can say it on March 31st.
Yeah, we have one next month too.
I'll say it again in 30 days and then again in 330 from there.
Thank you. My question was a little bit, I just, when you say courses, does that mean a half year or a full year? Like, what are we short?
On the courses that we're missing, they're both half-year courses. Is that correct?
CT and fine arts are half year, science would be a full.
Science is a full, and then, okay.
And we have a meeting coming up. I'm working with curriculum on that. I was ready.
Okay, I'm just wondering, like, yeah.
And we moved away with Granite Online when this fee schedule came in. We just moved away so we don't charge fees for Granite Online. So that kind of created that easy pathway for us to move that direction.
Okay. All right, are there any further questions?
Just one. So if we're short, so every high school has to create this path, but if you throw it online, that's access to all 8 high schools. So while I understand I prefer in person as well, but I can see the economy of scale and the financial benefit of putting it online, because then all of a sudden you're checking that box for 8 high schools, but you're offering one course.
You hit it right on the head,
I just want to make that observation.
And that's the really difficult part because a lot of our third-year science classes vary from the teachers and their certifications. We have astronomy at one school, geology at another. So this is really everywhere in that third-year science.
Thank you.
I had a couple more questions. Can I?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we've had lots of changes in school fees over these last few years. Am I right that now we've landed for the time being? There aren't future changes to come. I mean,
with 121 not passing, yeah.
Possibly with legislation, but I mean, there's not any legislation outstanding that's going to change this again for next year. Okay. The other thing is I had a parent reach out to me and say, can we make sure that these fees are on the registration card so that when we sign up, we know what we're paying for? And I responded, I think they are on the registration card, aren't they?
Well, it depends what you mean by registration card. So registration is now done via Focus. So these are actually being inputted directly into Focus. Schools have a course catalog, and that's where the fees are typically listed.
Okay. Yes. I'm not sure which one she's talking about because she kind of seemed like she thought it was a piece of paper, and I was wondering too.
That was, I mean, what most were used to for many, many years. There was an actual physical card, and the model's just a little different now.
Do we still post those? They're on our website per statute as well. I think the challenge, especially for extracurricular fees, is that it doesn't come to the attention of a parent until their kid makes a team.
Yes,
and then they get the sticker shock.
Yeah.
I know I went to a baseball meeting in another district that will not be named, and I don't know where I'm going to come with $1,500 because I was not expecting that.
Our max fee is lower than that.
Yeah,
we're raising
it. And plus, it says on that fee schedule just like the one fee that we can actually charge, and then there's these other components as well. And so sometimes it's really hard for our parents to really gauge what the actual cost is. Then you throw in the fundraising component of all this that's allowed. It's a complex issue.
It almost should be on, isn't there, I feel like there was a form or something I had to put in order for my child to try out.
Yeah.
Like that information should be on that form for the tryout so the parent knows what they're getting into. Now, I don't want to discourage a kid because what if I'm on a fee waiver and I look at that number and I'm like, oh, you're staying home, you know. But also, I just want to say that I think it's really important that wherever the parent is sitting down with their child to register for class and they are clicking the button to register, that it have that price next to it. Because they need to know that they're signing up for a $45 fee or whatever it is, you know. And even, I don't think we can this now would be programming, which I don't want to pay for, but you know, a bottom line would be amazing at the end. And you owe $125. Please put your MasterCard in here. But I mean, I think it's just changing the text to write the price in there. I think we could do that. Am I wrong? You're looking at me like that's not.
No, I'm just not knowledgeable about what would go into that. That would be changing the programming of focus, and so I don't want to speak to just what's outside my knowledge base is all.
It'd probably require focus to do some programming to put it on the portal for the students to put it in. So that the other options were to put it in the student course catalog, which is online, or on the card.
I think you could just put it in the description of the course.
And the course catalog,
which is text, right? That you change. We changed that. The program.
well, and that's why the course catalog, as Steve's describing, is the most common place that I'm aware of that this exists, because those are owned and edited by the school level. They know they're offering this course, and they know what their fee schedules are based on the program that returns that value to them. So that's perfectly editable and maintainable by the school administration, by the school and the counselors. Focus is not something we edit at the school level. So I can find out more information on that. I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, would you bring that back for a second reading? Sure. I would like to understand how that works and if there's a possibility of doing that. Yeah. And I mean, I know that we don't necessarily have like full board support for wanting to do that, but I would love that information.
Just a quick reminder, we are still on questions. We'll have discussion after we have a motion.
Oh.
So questions.
Okay.
Can I throw something in just for fun?
Sure, go ahead.
Is it a question? Just kidding.
I don't do Jeopardy. So if you look at 53G7505, it says for the 26-27 school year that the LEA is to clearly identify any fee for each activity, course, or program alongside the description of the activity, which I think is what you're describing, course or program in the LEA's registration materials. So there is a new piece of communication that we need to comply with when we get there.
I guess the question is,
it's the first time I've been like aligned with the legislature.
Is that a good
amazing?
So I guess the question is it already, are we in compliance if it is listed in the course catalog, or does it have to be listed? Do we need to list that? That might be the question to ask, and it just needs to be listed someplace. So if it's in the course catalog, that's considered in compliance. Okay.
So for my own clarification, it sounds like what we're doing would be in compliance with that, but there's interest to know what else could also exist.
And Julie, I want to clarify too, if a student is on fee waiver, any student school fees within said school day in these classes would be covered under a fee waiver. So prohibit them from being able to take it.
I'm not sure that a parent always gets that.
Well, and
Maybe
also, I really feel like fee waivers, it's great for those families, but we have a lot of what I call the bubble families, right? So they make just enough to bump them out of that fee waiver, but making up those fees, it's a big jump. It's hard. And so I don't know if bubble families is a good term or not, but you know what I'm talking about, right? They're just on the edge of qualifying. I don't know. I mean, you're kind of getting a little bit down into the weeds of the focus, and we've got to program it so when you click it, it is like an Amazon cart, and you've got the existing total. I'm not sure we need that. I mean, could it be okay? I'm registering for swim class that has parentheses $40.
That's what I'm asking for.
Can it be health? Oh wait, no, we can't charge for health. Give me a class we can charge.
Yeah, sewing.
Okay, sewing or CTE or graphic design.
That's
Let's
what
say
I'm
graphic
asking for.
design.
It's just informational, not necessarily.
Yes.
I did say put in your credit card, but I knew that wasn't going to be possible.
So I just want to clarify, because I think I know what you mean. It's just, what is this class parenthesis? This is up to, or the fee. Because then as you are clicking on as a parent, you can kind of at least know from the get-go what you're getting. And you could even say all fees subject to fee waivers as well. I mean, on there too for the fee waiver families, but is there something where you can just do parentheticals on each line? Or if it's not,
hypothetical.
Or if it like history class, well, we can't charge for history, $0. Let them know when you click that, there's no cost to that.
It's a core class, yeah.
So the process we do right now is we go through the fees and we have the second reading. Once that's approved, our class teachers, our advisors, our coaches based on the approved fee schedule, build a spend plan, which we asked them to do by the end of the school year. So it would only have to be able to be a hypothetical price to put that in, because course selection takes place in January. So we're talking when the legislative session is starting. So we're at the mercy of waiting for a session to get done to figure out what's going to change in the game as well. So it would only be hypothetical.
I guess I'd prefer that, because I just don't like the idea that I'm going in to buy a pair of shoes and I don't know how much they cost.
Sure.
You know, I think it's really important, because I assume it's free, right? We're always assuming our classes are free. And then you're like, what? I would have never allowed you to take sewing for $45. So I think it's important.
Okay. And what I would add to this is focus is the common denominator across all 8 schools, and that's ultimately where the course selections land. And as Steve just pointed out, that is being done in January and February into March before this part is finalized. All the schools I'm aware of, they vary on this, but there is some mechanism that is the guide sheet. Sometimes it's a card that helps them navigate that to what actually gets input into focus. And in most cases that I can think of off the cuff, that kind of thing already exists, and we can reinforce that to say, hey, as you're working off of a card before you're inputting in there, that is a very easy place, and like I said, in most instances I'm aware of, already lists this sewing has a $40 fee or the like. But we'll study that more and have more information on that for the second reading for sure.
So Tyler, are you saying that on the course selection card, it's already on there? That
well, and that's
like
where
could be or approximately or?
Yes, and I'm distinguishing between two different things, because officially the course selection card with the technology anymore is what gets submitted into Focus, and families and students can submit directly into Focus now. However, it's a little hard to navigate, and most schools have an instruction sheet. At Granger, it was an actual Google form that they'd go through and fill it out there, and it would send them an email afterwards, and it would say, hey, here are the steps to how you put it into Focus. And on that is where we would list those fees that we are aware of, and to Steve's point, somewhat hypothetical, because they're subject to change because this part hasn't been finalized yet. So I can do even a little bit of audit amongst the 8 high schools where this is most prevalent to find out what those mechanisms look like. But in that regard, that is really easy to add on and adjust, because that is a homemade thing that's happening at each of the 8 high schools anyways. The Focus part is, I'm pretty techie and I don't know how to program, so that part's a little bit beyond my reach. Okay. But I can find out more on it.
But it would at least give our parents an
Definitely.
idea that they're going to sign up for
It would probably
class
give
that
a better
cost
idea, because
something.
that's the one they interface
Right.
with more,
Gotcha.
and that's the more user-friendly side of this whole
Boy, even if we just put this class has a fee.
Yeah, and that's a common approach to it I've seen. So.
Kim has a question.
Thank you.
Thanks. On the previous slide, just one additional question, and this may require follow-up. I'm sorry. I'm just curious if you know, Todd or Ben, I'm looking at you, or maybe you know, Steve, the bill that was passed, when it was passed, and what bill it was that made this particular change. When was it? Last year?
He didn't speak in his mic, so I'll be his voice. That would be HB 415 for people listening online.
Passed last year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now would be a good time for me to reiterate how ridiculous all this is.
No, 30 days. It's not a question.
You're right, it's not. I apologize, Madam President.
All right, we're going to pause, and we've got 4 people who are signed up for public comment on this. So we're going to go ahead and invite Karen Banker up first. Is Karen here? Karen? No? No?
We took too long.
Okay. Nate Woodward. Is Nate here? No? Okay. Elias Linares? Cassandra Hodges?
I'm here, but I'm going to take a step back on this one for this one until the next one, until I get a little bit more clarification after hearing everything I just said.
Okay. Fantastic. All right.
Or send an email too.
Yeah, you're welcome to send an email to us as well.
Then we can think about it.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So we have, this is our first reading of our school fees for the 2026-2027 school year. I will entertain a motion, and then we can have further discussion.
I move that we approve as a first reading the 26-27 student fee schedule with what's been discussed, finding out all those things.
Do we have to do them separate? There's all high school, junior high separate, or can we do them together?
Doug? Do we do these as
We've all done
high
together.
school, junior high, and elementary, or can we approve?
We've done them all but together before.
All together.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
The only
Motions.
reason we did them different in the past was because we've had to make an amendment for that entrepreneurship class that is GTI in the past years.
That's right. Okay, so my motion still is
So your motion stands.
to approve as the first reading.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve as a first reading the fee schedule for the 2026-27 school year. Is there any discussion? Now, clerk.
Now would be a good time for me to reiterate my prior comments. That will suffice. Thanks, Madam President.
Noted, thank you. Are there any other comments? It wouldn't be a fee schedule discussion without me making a comment. But it doesn't have to do with music this time, so thank you. I do want to say, it is a little frustrating, kind of going off of what Julie is talking about, to have the fees, and even if we know that we have a fee, but at the time, it would be nice to have it at the time of registration, because you go in, you register your kid, you start school, you have to fill out all the stuff, all the paperwork, and then you have to go back and, okay, I guess I have a fee for this, and then they send you an email, oh, you have a fee for this as well, and it's going in and out of focus to try to figure out, and when you've got more than one kid in that school that you're trying to figure out a fee for, it's bananas. So I'm just gonna put my 2 cents worth in there. I think it's really frustrating for parents that we need to have that. I'm also gonna reiterate the fee spend plans. Just as a question, when are those due?
Oh, yeah.
They're supposed to be done by June 30th, correct, Todd? Or is it, we try to have the teachers complete them by the end of the school year?
I thought they were due earlier than that.
Because the teachers leave.
Because the teachers leave.
Well, sure. I thought they were due before that, though.
So technically, the spend plan should be available when the registration materials are available. So the scenario you're describing shouldn't be a problem because the fees should already be established in those spend plans.
With the exception of then it's a year lag because those course selections are taking place in February and March.
I was gonna say, because I've already turned in my fee spend, my spend plan for my school.
For next year?
For next year, because it goes on the registration card and they see that there is a fee.
But your students have already likely selected their classes before you did your spend plan.
No.
Okay, no?
I told them, this is what I want to charge for a fee next year. And they actually did not put, I will say this, they did not put the fee, the actual amount, but they did put a $sign next to my course so that they know this requires a fee. So that's why. But I'm just bringing that up because I've also had immense frustration expressed from parents about these spend plans. They are not, and I want to put this in the nicest way possible, and I don't know how to do that. They are not very detailed. And it's really frustrating to parents when they go and look at these and they're going, okay, I have to spend $2,500 because, and that's the maximum that we can spend out of pocket for, and I'm using drill again, but that we can charge for drill, $2,500 for drill, and they can't tell me line item what we're buying, $25 for sneakers, this much for that, da-da-da-da-da-da. And if they're not line iteming it, they're not doing their spend plan correctly.
Here. I'm so thrilled to hear you say this.
I'm going to interject and say they can now. Starting next year, this is something that the IT's pulled off, and we've seen the example of it, and it's dividing it out. There are some complications of why that's been hard to get to, and I won't go into all those details right now, but I've seen the prototype, and that will be the plan moving forward.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Tyler, my feeling is the reason that this is happening is because those coaches want as much flexibility as they can with that money, not that there's been some sort of structural problem. So they'll put things on there like equipment. We're spending it on uniforms, equipment, and transportation, or actually I think they can't pay for transportation or something, but they can. And so what I want to see as a parent is I want to see uniforms, $38, which I know is like a dream if a uniform costs that much. Transportation, $125 per person. Like I'm looking at where is my money going this season, not last season, this season, you know?
So there's been the back side of the spend plans, and there's been the public facing side of that. And obviously, coach or those who are filling out their spend plans are going through and they're saying, all right, this is the number of participants we have in it. These are the resources we're going to need, and that's doing a grand total for a whole group. That has always existed on the backside since we initiated spend plans. On the public-facing side, what's that? And it's very detailed. It's very line itemized on that side of it. On the public-facing side, it's...
So you're saying the principal receives that side?
The principal receives that, and it's filled out by all the different coaches. You know, as the principal at Granger, when we had a lot of spend plans, I had, 130 of these, and all filled out by different individuals. On the public-facing side, up till now and what's current, when you go to fees.graniteschools.org, you're going to be able to access any school, Granger High School's fee schedule, and what you would see is, hey, I'm participating in baseball, and it's going to say something like $780 out-of-pocket fee, and then it's going to say for what, and it's going to list uniforms, transportation, all the different things that are part of that. The change that's happening that I have seen the prototype from IT right now is it's going to actually take that grand total that was done by the coach on the back side, and it is itemizing it to the $780 out-of-pocket fee, and that parent's going to be able to see, all right, of the $780, $100 is for uniforms, and $25 is for the umpires or the officials. I mean, all the different pieces of, I'm making these up off the spot, but it's going to itemize those of where that $780 is being divvied out. Now, there's also challenges to that, because now families are seeing this individual amount, and depending on what the total is, it starts to get a little quirky. There are sometimes $6 fees being charged, and it starts breaking out saying 78 cents is being this part, and 35 cents is that part. So it looks a little funny in some spots, but for the main large fees that are done, I think it's going to be a lot more satisfying for our patrons to be able to go, oh, I get where that money's going, and I get what we're paying for.
And in order for us to charge a fee, a spend plan must be done. That's all aligned now in focus. So that's a nice thing too. We can't charge a fee without the spend plan in there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think that will solve a lot of problems, because it solves the we're going to spend as much as we can collect.
Can I have one more comment?
I guess.
I know I already was asked, and now I just wanted to make sure to say that, the purpose of public education is to teach kids the academic things, right? We recognize the value of the activities and the importance of the activities, but that is not the purpose. And we got to make sure the tail isn't wagging the dog on this, and that we are making sure our resources are going into our priority, which in my mind is low class size, right? So when we talk about, what's going on here, I just think it's really important to keep that focus. I also think that it's important to say that these activities, for the most part, happen outside of the class schedule, outside of the school day. And like today, someone at Cottonwood High said to me, if I pay X amount of money for my kid to go to basketball 5 days a week, that's the best deal in town. So if you think about it in terms of, well, you can either pay for it as a lesson or you can pay for it here, we actually are giving a really good deal from that perspective. And so I just think it's really important to recognize that, because when it's like, yeah, $3,000 for drill, well, that's for not 11 months of drill every day. That's actually a great deal, So I just feel like it's important to mention that it's not like we have these astronomical prices compared to other forms of, or other venues for talent development.
I think you make a really good point. I think that's very well said, and absolutely needs to be noted. I would also suggest that our priorities, while academic, I think a lot of extracurriculars and other areas where fees are charged are part of what we're all about, that they are equal priorities, that things like student government, the sewing to CTE debate, performing arts, they are equal priorities, and equally as important as a high-level chemistry class that requires certain equipment as a fee. So I don't think we can lose sight of those, in my mind, equal priorities.
And I think that that is true for us as Americans. I mean, we have lots of educational models that do not involve these things in the public system, and those models turn out fantastic humans, you know. They get them elsewhere. They don't do it in the public sector through tax dollars. So while I'm with you and it's important to me and my children really benefited from these things, I don't mean to say that. I just mean I want to make sure that we're remembering that we're really teaching kids to read here. But you're right, we are also working on like a whole child situation.
I just have a comment about that. A lot of my students in my area, this is an opportunity that they might not have otherwise. So sometimes we look at it as like, this is just extra, but actually for them, it might be the only time they're ever in a choir. They might not have had that opportunity, or private lessons, or any kind of outside of school. So sometimes I have to look at it from that perspective of this is opportunity for them, and a lot of times they'll learn some leadership skills or just some confidence in themselves to do other things too. And so when they do graduate, they're not too scared to go and do something in public or sing it with some, you know. And so I feel like sometimes, yes, we should be focused on academics, of course, that's the goal. But I think when we want to give opportunities to kids, sometimes these kids, this is their only chance to do this or to play a sport with a team.
But if it means that I have 36 in a class, and so that kid gets to be in choir, but they don't get to learn to read, I'm just saying, like, we have to make sure we're prioritizing our money.
And I agree.
And I'm not against choir or sports or any, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say we have to remember everything we do has a cost-benefit analysis.
You're right, Julie. And I'm going to tell you, just because of what I do, and you know, because we know that students also are more likely to graduate when they feel connected to school. And those classes where they feel connected to school, or those things where they feel connected to school, are the classes where they're in band or orchestra or drama or debate or, you know, it's something else. So it is a balance, and it is something that, but it is something that also helps those kids keep connected to school and will get them across that graduation line and gives them an incentive. There's so many athletes who I know they will watch those grades and make sure those grades are good so that they can participate in those sports. So there is a value proposition with that, and a return on investment with that we get those kids and they do better because we have them involved in those activities. So, and I will say, just defending my music is very much a literacy and numeracy. It does reinforce those.
But I don't think we should be charging for it.
And we don't have to for every class, but that's the thing. It depends on what class you're doing. So.
Yeah, that's a class. That's during the school day. To me, it's different from being in an activity or a team that's after school.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm sorry. I think I'm getting us off on a debate that's maybe not quite relevant. I just wanted to bring it back to remember, this is not just sports is not the whole picture.
I think we understand that you believe in the comprehensive nature of our high schools, and that there is significant value in that comprehensive offering of what our high schools offer. So I think where we maybe got off track a little bit was in terms of if there's a prioritization necessarily, and I'm not sure that there is or should be, because the comprehensive nature of what we offer has tremendous value to achieving ultimately what our objectives are as an education institution.
Thank you.
Thanks, Clark.
Yeah, well said. Okay. There's no further debate or discussion. Sorry. We have a motion and a second to approve the fee schedule for the 2026-2027 school year as a first reading. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye, I guess.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thanks, gentlemen. All right, we're going to invite Doug Larson up.
School fees make me mad every year. They do. I just leave grouchy every March.
Why don't we schedule a trip for you, Julie, every March?
I need a therapy. I need a therapy
She used to go a
appointment
week
every
earlier.
Good evening, Board. We have two first readings to discuss tonight. The first one is Article 6B1. This is a consolidation of a couple of policies. And this first one is payroll and accounting. This policy was conceived of and largely written by, or at least I guess, changed or corrected by Mr. Welch. Why am I forgetting his name? Rich Welch. Thank you very much, our payroll director. Rich was the one who took this policy and revamped it to fit or to describe the job responsibilities in payroll. This particular policy that outlines the procedures and best practices for payroll and accounting, and it also incorporates Memo 155, which provides more detail with respect to the administrative process of payroll and accounting. And if you have any further questions about the policy, I'd be happy to respond.
Do we have any questions?
If I can add, not a question. So this, if you recall, we had our presentation on the change in pay days. This is the policy piece that will support that ability to change the pay days.
Yep, and I might mention that is in actually the memorandum, Memo 155. It doesn't state it in the board policy, but it is stated in Memo 155, which will be attached to this policy.
All right, if there are no questions, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve Article 6B1, payroll and accounting, for a first reading.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Article 6B1, payroll and accounting, as a first reading. Is there any discussion on this?
Did you say you were going to attach the memo to that? You'll attach it? Or?
I'm sorry, it's not attached, but the memorandum 155 are the administrative procedures that are related to this policy. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't send that out to us, I didn't see it. Or can you send that out to us?
You had asked during law and policy that we provide that to GEA. So GEA is actually in the process of reviewing that policy, right, or that memorandum right now. As soon as GEA's had an opportunity to speak to it, then I will send it out to the board.
Okay, thank you. All right.
I will say that, no, I won't.
Okay.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve Article 6B1, payroll and accounting, as a first reading. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion carries.
Okay, great. The second reading that we have for tonight on first reading is Fiscal Policy Manual, Section 12. This is collection of accounts, receivables, and other debts. Dana Canino, Dana Adams in Food Services, she had requested that we provide some more detailed policies and procedures related to the collection of fees, particularly fees for lunch charges. And we took an opportunity to clean this policy up, and it's streamlined a bit for parents, and I think it will be more useful for communication between the Bates Kitchen, our food services, and our parents, and hopefully it'll be helpful for collection of some of those fees, like lunch fees. So if you have any other questions about this policy, I'd be happy to respond.
Doug, are you okay if I add a little more?
Please do.
So you'll notice on B1A where it says "and fines," you'll see that throughout the document where we added "and fines." We had a discussion several months back with regards to fines and whether they could be collected. And in the past, fines were not collectible. We weren't able to send it to collections.
Right.
So you'll see that through this document that now says, yes, we can send fines to collections also. So this rewrite started there, and then we had the opportunity to add in the change for the food services program.
And I will mention that this policy was reviewed by Todd. It was also reviewed by Chris in accounting, and so this is run the gauntlet with respect to all of our financial professionals.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve as a first reading the changes to the Fiscal Policy Manual, Section 12, Collection of Accounts, Receivable and Other Debts.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve as a first reading the Fiscal Policy Manual, Section 12, Collections of Accounts Receivable and Other Debts. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great.
Thanks, Board.
Luke, would you mind if I gave your presentation for you? Nothing's changed from last month. Do you have any questions?
I have a motion, but I need to remember if it's A or B, so can you put that up there? Whatever the 54% one was. B. I move that we approve calendar B for the 27-28 school calendar year. There we go. Oh, it's 56. I remembered that wrong. That's even better. Calendar B as a second and final reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2027-2028 school calendar as a second and final, calendar B as a second and final reading. Is there any discussion on this?
A reminder that I will be voting against this motion because I want to make sure that my community is represented in their vote, since part of my community, the Olympus Network, did not prefer this calendar.
All right. Any other comments? All right. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Luke. That was the fastest you've ever done it.
That was great.
Really well said, Luke.
You know what? Steve Pershawn could learn from you.
Don't say anything. It goes your way.
I mean, that whole school fees thing went on forever.
Yeah, why is that, Julie?
Wow, Julie, why don't you tell us how you really feel?
All right. I'm going to turn the time over to the superintendent for his report.
I have a couple of items. I'm going to take a little bit longer than I normally do, so I apologize in advance. I got a couple of pictures we're going to share for this presentation. Before we get to that, I wanted to give a shout out to Leslie and her art folks. Last year I asked them to put together a hip hop dance team district-wide to provide another activity for our at-risk kids, and that has been implemented, and they will be performing at next Monday's Spring Dance Concert, which is an awesome event, so I would encourage you all to go. I think it's at Kearns on Monday, Spring Dance Concert. We'll send you the dates if we haven't already, but that's always an awesome event to go see all of our junior high and high school dance teams perform, and I believe our hip hop dance team will be performing there as well. So again, I appreciate that. I hope that we can expand that program and again, increase opportunities. It is Kearns High School from 7 to 7:30. That's not accurate. So I wanted to give Chick-fil-A in West Valley a shout out. My friend, the manager, Paul Howard, gave me a stat. Last time I was in there, like 6 times ago, because I go every other day, gave me a stack of gift cards, and he said, give these out to your kids. So I posted on social media, and I said, if you say moo to me, I will give you a card. So I've had students across the board like come up to me and say moo. This little friend here is at Vista Elementary, and he's a 3rd grader, and the principal reached out to me after and she said, he never talks to anybody, and he was so thrilled. I'd actually ran out of cards, so I apologized to him, and then I went back to Chick-fil-A again. It gave me another excuse to go for the second time in one day, and that was a joke, but nobody laughed. It must be really late.
Because it was gross.
It's so good, especially with Diet Dr. Pepper. And he gave me more, and a few days later I showed up and gave him his card, and he was just beyond the moon. So thank you to Paul Howard and our friends at the Chick-fil-A West Valley location. The other photo is, I want to give a shout out to Cypress Credit Union and the Granite Education Foundation. Once or twice a year, they afford our teachers an opportunity to go to a Jazz game. It's usually a crappy team. And so you'd think the Jazz could win a game, but they didn't. So they stink still. But we had a great time, and I met teachers from Jacqueline, from Granite Park, from all over across the Wasatch, and actually set up a chance for me to go teach kindergarten next month and 4th and 3rd grade. So I'll be going and subbing out in some of those classrooms, give those teachers a break. So I'm excited to go and work with them, and I just wanted to give Cypress Credit Union. Amanda is the blonde lady on the side. She's amazing. She does a ton of things for our schools, so thank you to Cypress Credit Union and the chance to kind of cheer for the Jazz. The food was excellent, by the way. So thank you to our teachers. We had a good time. I was also at the Olympus I State Championship game with Tyler, and I didn't wear red this time, so I was really grateful for that. Incredibly close game, and really just what an outstanding coach and team. To see that student body support their team. I've been out to many of our games, and Cypress was in the playoffs as well. We just have incredible student athletes, but that program is special for the coaching staff that we have there. He's a legend, and congratulations to them. Wanted to give you a brief update on our Plymouth pilot. I've had the opportunity to read your feedback given to the board after the study session and speak to other members of the board. And I think that coincides with what we had expressed in the study session. So I will be following up with each of you individually as well, but I've asked Dr. Nurden and Dr. Howe to go back out to that community and in coordination with that community this spring, come up with a plan together on how this might work and build a pilot that is amenable to that community and staff. And we'll bring a recommendation back to you next fall is the current plan. So I will be following up with you individually with respective to your individual concerns. Caucuses are on March 17th. That is 2 weeks from tonight, if I remember. I just want to encourage everybody and their dog to go to the political caucus of your choice. I'm not telling you which political party to show up for, but if we need supporters of public education, more than ever, to go and be represented and make sure your voice is heard. It is so much more effective to go to caucus and vote and run as a delegate, support delegates who support our schools, as opposed to speaking to a bill on the Hill after the fact. It's like a postmortem. So let's go out and make sure that whatever your voice is, I don't care, we should all be actively engaged in working to make our system better. And so I'd encourage all of our employees and patrons to participate in caucuses. We have some additional information that will be rolled out on the payroll update. Just wanted to give a shout out to our associations for helping us put all that good information together and repping for their employees very well. We're very excited about this information, and I expect we'll be able to get a lot of things clarified for our employees and make sure that they know that we're here to support them. Two more quick items. Just again, it was already expressed earlier in the meeting, but I had a chance to be out at Cypress this morning after the tragic accident, and a student passing away is no small thing, and just all of our love and support to the Cypress High community, our administrative team, and our teachers and employees out at that school. Our hearts are with you tonight, and the family of the victim and those who were injured. we can point fingers all we want, but at the end of the day, this is a tragedy, and our hearts are broken. So we'll continue to support that community and those families to the best of our ability. Last but not least, I had the first of what will be many Facebook town hall meetings. We've had regular town hall meetings in many of our networks, some of them more well attended than others. Usually if somebody's mad about something, they come to something like that in person. So this one was kind of unique and interesting. We solicited some questions in advance. We didn't get that many in advance, but over the course of the live stream, which lasted 75 minutes, we responded to 24 comments. We had almost 7,000 unique viewers watch a portion of the stream with 11,000 total views, and 4,000 of those were from folks who don't necessarily follow us on Facebook, and over 3,000 total watched minutes. So what we found is trying to go out there and share and be able to address concerns directly with the folks who have them is proving much more effective, and we anticipate doing some more of those events. I think we're scheduling another one for April. So thanks for all those who participated in that, and thank you for everybody and your support of our schools.
Thanks, Superintendent. Julie, do you have anything to report?
Nope, we have district community council meeting at the end of this month.
I do not have anything to report.
Just have that we have our USBA regional meeting on March 11th, so I'd invite everyone to come. It starts at 6 o'clock for dinner. It lasts usually until about 8, and we'll be discussing mostly probably the legislature and what's happening.
Thanks, Connie. Chris?
I don't have anything to report, but our Budget and Finance Committee, in lieu of our meeting for March that we was scheduled, will be our study session, correct, Todd? So our study session will be all of us instead of just our Budget and Finance Committee. I think that's all I have.
Thanks, Chris.
Benefits Committee, I was unable to go to the meeting yesterday. It's always tricky on Monday when it follows or when it precedes school board meetings because I don't have an afternoon to move my piano lessons to. Anyway. So, but I did get the scoop. So, benefits, insurance is running a little hot this year. So, costs are up, insurance is being utilized, which is a good thing. That's why it's there. But unfortunately, the bad news is it's looking like a 13% increase for next year. So, there are ways to combat that, and so the Benefits Committee. The district cannot absorb 13%. Funding is not there. So there has to be other ways to look at how to keep insurance kind of in line with what we can afford. And some of that involves, if it's too high and you don't want to raise the premiums, then you're looking at things like out-of-pocket maximums, deductibles, co-pays, all those others are different levers to kind of look at the plan design. So right now, Benefits Committee is kind of taking a deep dive into that and trying to get the costs down through basically tweaking the insurance as it is. The good news is even with some tweaks, we are still pretty competitive. Our benefits are still pretty rock star. And we still have the wellness clinic, which is a huge help in keeping the overall cost down, even though it's running hot. So a little bit of bad news as far as the cost, but the good news is they're taking a hard look at it and trying to pull some different levers to get it back to where we can maybe take a little bit of bite of that cost, but not at 13%, unfortunately.
You should be aware that we are back in the middle of audit season, audits of our schools. You'll recall that our external auditors audit about 1/3 of our schools each year, and our internal audit team and internal folks audit the other 2/3. So those reports are coming in, and I enjoy reading them thoroughly.
And Karen and I are thrilled that you enjoy those.
You have no idea what a solid I do, Karen and Nicole, by reading each of those audit reports.
Hey, we browse them.
It's massive. Yeah, I'm sure you do.
He volunteered, for the record.
Sure,
Volunteered.
yeah, volunteered is a good word.
We said we'd take one.
Take one for the team sometimes, because you put up with me when I'm out of order, which I appreciate.
That is true. All right. Our work for the 8-hour workday task force is we are honing in on a really good recommendation. I think we're in a good place. We still have a couple things that we'd like to refine before we bring it to the board, but I think I can look to my other people here. I think we're in a good place, and we're working on it. I think we're identifying some common themes and some common things that we want to have happen. I may reach out to some of you individually just to get some thoughts that you have, but aside from that, we're looking forward to finishing this up before we get to negotiations. So, yeah, it's been arduous, but good. It's been a good process. So, with that, having reached the end of our agenda with no objections, we will go ahead and stand adjourned.